So you head on to sleep early. Got your usual 8 hours. Woke up feeling recharged physically in the morning. All is going well in your day. Until you looked at your schedule and find the to-do item, which reads, work out for 45 minutes, and eat a healthy lunch. Suddenly, something's changed. You all of a sudden felt heavier and a bit frustrated. Your enthusiasm for the day dropped a few notches. Your energy tank, which has just been refilled, seemed to be running low. You know you're not tired, but you feel tired. After a few moments of struggle and hesitation, you've made a decision. So you go grabbed a bag of chips and watched Netflix. Laughable as this may seem, this is something that most, if not all people can identify with. We set out to accomplish things that we know are good for us, but when the time comes that we are to do it, we encounter some kind of force against the change we want to initiate. This phenomenon is called mental resistance. Here, we will be looking closer at mental resistance and how to break through it, using 3 simple steps. A key component to breaking through your mental resistance comes with a general but clear picture of how our brains work. In a broad sense, our brains have 3 parts playing important roles in determining our response to change. A better understanding of the dynamics of each will also help us understand why we naturally encounter resistances. The first part is the one responsible for the processing of ideas and learning in general. This is the area of the brain that works overtime, every time we encounter a new experience. These mental activities are energy intensive, and tends to cause our brains to fatigue quickly. Experiences calling for some kind of change, whether desired or not, fall into this category. This area of the brain is called the prefrontal cortex. The second part is the one responsible for the processing of emotions and manifestation of behavior. A hyperstimulation of the prefrontal cortex causes this part to be stimulated as well. This area of the brain determines our different responses to stress, which many psychologists list as fight, flight, or freeze. Once stimulated, this area induces feelings of fear or anger, causing us to act abruptly, and quite often irrationally. Confusion, denial, and hopelessness, among others, can also result from this. This second area of the brain is called the amygdala. The third part is where our normal, routinary works and schedules are stored. In other words, this is where our comfort zone lies. The way we think, speak, and act are deeply influenced by this area of our brain. And these are all done almost automatically, requiring very minimal effort and energy to process. Activities such as walking and other motor functions, brushing your teeth and other habits you have, are processed in this area. This third area of the brain is called the basal ganglia. So, the idea of change causes the prefrontal cortex to work harder. This brings about feelings of fear and uncertainty when the amygdala is stimulated. When this happens, our tendency is to resist the change that is being introduced, and just go back to the status quo, as defined in our basal ganglia. Together, these 3 parts shed more light to why we encounter mental resistance. While we cannot change the biological functions of our brain, we sure can establish steps in order to break through our mental resistances. Step 1. Decide whether the task is worth pursuing. Deciding is one of those abstract concepts that carry such powerful and tangible consequences with it. You cannot see or feel your decisions, but you sure will notice the effects of them. We all understand how important our decisions are. The first step to breaking through the mental resistance is to decide whether the task at hand is actually worth pursuing or not. This means that you have to weigh the pros and the cons of going through the process, and see if you like the overall benefits versus the effort and sacrifice you have to put up. Take for example, you want to lose those extra pounds. We know that this entails some kind of lifestyle change, requiring some effort and sacrifice on your end. This can include altering the way you eat, like giving up soda, junk foods, and those unnecessary sugars. In addition, you would have to put extra work, exercising and lifting weights. Sensing change, the walls of mental resistance will naturally mount up. This is where looking at the benefits come in. What would happen if you actually did lose the extra pounds? How much better will you feel physically, emotionally, and psychologically? What are the things that you will enjoy more when this happens? The answers to these questions corresponds to knowing your whys. Why in the first place do you want to lose weight? So, consider the potential benefits and tally them against your efforts and sacrifices. After doing so, decide. And decide with conviction. Step 2. Divide the task into smaller, actionable parts. Now that you have decided to go on, step 2 is all about dividing your goal into smaller and well-defined tasks. The objective of this step is to make sure that you will not be overwhelmed with all the things you need to accomplish. When you try to consider everything at a glance, you will lose sight of the things that you can actually achieve. And just be focused on how hard and daunting the entire process is. Breaking the task into smaller parts will help you not trigger your mental resistance. When you define your tasks, make sure that they are all concrete and actionable. Avoid abstract processes. Say for example, you need to do a 10-page research paper on how social media is changing the way people think. When you break this goal into smaller components, you need to make each step concise yet actionable. So, in your to-do list, you cannot just write, research on social media, or, research on how influential is social media. Entries like this, while make you remember the task you need to do, are still quite vague and oftentimes, not directly actionable. Instead, consider becoming more precise and basic in your entries. You can write entries such as, list down the top 10 social media platforms there are. Or look for 5 research papers with related studies to topic. Or read and take notes of the relevant information from these papers. You can even divide these further as you see fit. Make each step such that they are all directly actionable. Doing so gives the idea that while the list may be long, each part is manageable and doable. Step 3. Deliver and celebrate. The third step involves actual work. Up to this point, you have set up yourself to be able to act and deliver on the list of tasks you have created. And acting on it actually helps in keeping mental resistance at bay. Although each task may be small compared to the entire scope of the work, the joy of seeing progress offers a feeling of satisfaction and gives further encouragement. Nothing beats moments when you are able to check off items in your to-do list. As you accomplish these subtasks, don't forget to tap yourself at the back for a job well done. Celebrate these simple achievements. The act of celebration helps reinforce a positive memory of that experience. So whether you celebrate through a period of rest and relaxation, or watching your favorite shows, consider these things as a kind of reward for yourself. At this point, you should be able to say, that was not too bad. When this happens, your next round of work will be met by lesser mental resistance, given the prior positive experience. Decide, divide, deliver. These 3 steps are simple and actionable. And hopefully, they can help you manage and break through your mental resistance toward accomplishing your goals ahead. Comment down below the things you do in order to break through your mental resistance. If you like this, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video. For more insights about productivity and the overall influence of our minds to our everyday lives, please subscribe to this channel. This is the Bulletproof Mind. Train your mind. Train your life.